Brazil is widely known as a leading exporter of agricultural products, particularly meat. Meat export has been a significant contributor to Brazil's economy for many years. The country has a vast livestock industry with a favorable climate and abundant land resources that enable it to produce large quantities of meat. Brazil's meat industry has experienced significant growth over the years, with meat exports becoming a critical source of revenue for the country. In this video, we will explore how the meat export industry has contributed to Brazil's economy and what factors have enabled its success. Before we know about this, we will know about the history of meat production in Brazil. The history of meat production in Brazil dates back to the 16th century when the first cattle were introduced by Portuguese colonizers. Initially, cattle farming was primarily used for subsistence, but over time, it became an important economic activity in the country. In the 20th century, Brazil began to expand its meat production industry, particularly beef. In the 1960s and 1970s, the Brazilian government implemented policies that encouraged the expansion of the livestock industry, including tax incentives and credit programs. These policies helped to increase meat production in Brazil, with beef production growing from 1.7 million tons in 1970 to 11.8 million tons in 2019. Similarly, pork production grew from 1.3 million tons in 2000 to 4.2 million tons in 2019, and poultry production grew from 3.1 million tons in 1990 to 14.5 million tons in 2019. The expansion of meat production in Brazil has been driven by several factors, including favorable natural conditions, such as abundant land and a favorable climate, and technological advancements in breeding, feeding, and processing practices. Additionally, the country has invested in research and development programs to improve the quality and safety of its meat products. As a result of these efforts, Brazil has become one of the world's leading meat producers and exporters. In 2020, Brazil's meat production totaled 38.1 million tons, with beef accounting for approximately 38% of total production, followed by poultry at 40% and pork at 22%. Meat production has also been an essential contributor to Brazil's economy, generating significant revenue and employment opportunities. According to data from the Brazilian Association of Animal Protein, the meat industry accounted for approximately 15% of the country's total agricultural exports in 2020, with beef exports valued at approximately $7.3 billion and poultry exports valued at approximately $6.2 billion. Brazil is one of the largest producers and exporters of meat in the world, and the meat industry has played a significant role in the country's economy. According to the Brazilian Association of Animal Protein, in 2020, Brazil's meat exports reached a total of 6.3 million tons, generating revenue of approximately $17.2 billion. The meat industry is particularly important for Brazil's economy, as it contributes significantly to the country's trade balance. In 2020, meat exports accounted for approximately 4% of Brazil's total exports. The meat industry also generates employment and income, particularly in rural areas where many of the country's livestock farms are located. Beef is the most significant segment of Brazil's meat industry, accounting for approximately 63% of the country's total meat exports. The second largest segment is poultry, which accounts for approximately 33% of Brazil's total meat exports. Pork, on the other hand, represents a smaller share of Brazil's meat exports, accounting for only around 3% of the total. Several factors have contributed to Brazil's success in the meat industry. Brazil has favorable natural conditions for livestock farming, with a large land area and a climate that is well suited to raising animals. The country also has a large and efficient meat processing industry, with modern facilities and advanced technologies that allow for the production of high-quality meat products. Moreover, Brazil has been able to gain access to important markets worldwide through trade agreements, which have opened up new opportunities for the country's meat exporters. For example, in 2020, China was the largest market for Brazil's meat exports, accounting for 27.4% of the country's total meat exports. Other important markets for Brazil's meat exports include the European Union, the Middle East, and the United States. The meat industry of Brazil continues to hold a prominent position in the global market. In 2021, Brazil remained the world's leading exporter of beef, accounting for approximately 20% of global beef exports. The country also ranked as the world's second largest exporter of poultry, behind only the United States. Brazil's meat industry has faced several challenges in recent years, including concerns over the impact of livestock farming on the environment and animal welfare. However, the country has continued to invest in sustainable practices and technology to address these concerns and maintain its position as a leading meat exporter. One of the key factors that have enabled Brazil to maintain its position in the global meat market is its access to important markets worldwide. The country has secured trade agreements with many countries, allowing its meat exporters to access new markets and diversify their customer base. In addition, Brazil's meat industry has a reputation for producing high-quality meat products, which has helped it to maintain its competitive position in the global market. In terms of market value, the meat industry is a significant contributor to Brazil's economy, accounting for approximately 15% of the country's total agricultural exports. The beef industry is particularly important, with exports valued at approximately $7.3 billion in 2020. The poultry industry is also significant, with exports valued at approximately $6.2 billion in the same year. In conclusion, Brazil's meat industry has played a significant role in the country's economy, generating substantial revenue and employment opportunities. Brazil has established itself as a major player in the global meat market, with a reputation for producing high-quality and safe meat products. Despite challenges such as environmental concerns and animal welfare issues, Brazil's commitment to sustainable practices and technological advancements has enabled the country to maintain its competitive position in the global market. With a rich history of meat production and continued investment in the industry, Brazil is poised to remain a significant player in the global meat market for years to come.